Hello, everyone. Thank you for finding this time for us. We all appreciate that you fully understand that this is not usual that you spend 1 hour to test some random piece of software from the internet. So I hope we will be showing you something worth watching, something interesting. So I would like to start by telling what it is that we are building with Anytype and why. So let me share my screen for that. With Anytype, we want to build an operating system for sovereign people and their networks. And by sovereign people, we mean people independent of nation states, people independent of big tech. We ourselves want to become the sovereign people, but the thing with sovereignty, that you can't become sovereign alone. So this is our own way and the communal effort on the way to sovereignty. Why this is important today? Because the computer is the most powerful tool we humans ever created. And the network of computers, I think, is the most powerful network in human history. Some people say software is eating the world. I personally believe I'm already a cyborg because I just realized how much of my own thinking, planning, communicating, working, and a lot of other things are mediated by software today. However, all current software runs on the application metaphor that was born when Apple computers when Apple computers were building the first operating system, they invited external developers to extend the functionality of the operating system. And companies such as Adobe and Microsoft proposed proprietary file formats. And the boundaries of these proprietary file formats started to be called applications. The sole purpose of the proprietary file format was that the data from inside one application would not speak the same language as the data from inside the other application. That was done on purpose so that these companies, these business units would be able to make money on the pieces of code that they add to the operating system. So they had to close the data of a user so that they will be able to charge. That was the only business model available at the time, but this is, I would say, the original scene. This is where this divisions between the data started. In the late 90s, these applications moved into the cloud, creating the web we know today, and it gave us immense superpowers. We can have this call today. We can publish, and millions of people will be able to see, watch, or read what we are creating. We can collaborate with people from other countries and other continents in real time. We can transfer wealth with one click. We can back up all our data. These are real superpowers. However, we also lost some things on the way. Because of the client-server architecture, application developers started to control the keys to our information and also store it on their servers. And because of that, they became owners of not only our objects, but even of our identities and the way we connect to other people. What's wrong with all of that? First of all our objects are scattered, and this is like broken thoughts. We can't connect our own ideas from one place to our own ideas from some other place, and we take it for granted because this has been like this since inception. Then we have slow innovation when if you have an idea how to improve an existing product, you would have to create the whole product from scratch. You can't build something on top. So if I want to have folders in Slack, I would need to build my own front and back end, and even would have to get some users to understand if it's needed by anyone but me. We think this is not the best way to build software on a global scale, and that can be done differently. And finally, and most importantly, we believe is this bad foundation with surveillance, censorship, and most of the value being captured by platform providers that gave us tools to create, but they also own what we create. We think this is a very bad deal for the creator and something that we want to fix with Anytype. That is why we are building a new kind of operating system that is built directly for digital objects. And it's built on 3 innovations. The first one is about changing the metaphor, going from a siloed applications to a graph of objects. And a graph of objects just works much more similar way in how our brains do, connecting ideas associatively. And it also allows us to build software in a much more cooperative way, because we can reuse objects built by others. We can mix and match. Some of us who can code can build new kinds of objects. Others can build the workflows and the software that replicates their unique thought processes. The second innovation is a new business model. Anytype will become a digital association that will motivate all its contributors, be it designers, developers, and users, to build one system that they collectively own. And finally, Anytype is built on local first peer-to-peer architecture, where users control the keys to their accounts. And first of all, this guarantees user sovereignty over their data, and we believe this to be sacred. We believe this is a fundamental digital right or digital freedom that all of us should have. But this kind of local first peer-to-peer architecture also gives some performance benefits, because it can work without in offline mode, without connection to the internet, so you won't even notice, and you would be able to sync locally in networks, even if they are also disconnected from the internet. And it's also faster, because you don't have to sync to the server all the time. It means you can work faster. This is, we believe, a very big vision, and we go there step by step. And the first step we call sovereign individual, and it's all about private objects and ability to connect them into your unique knowledge graph. This is where Anytype is today. So with Anytype, you will get a space builder, and the first space that you will be building, Anytype today comes with one space, and there you can create your documents, tasks, bookmarks, and interconnect them into your unique knowledge graph. And Charlotte will be showing how you can build anything from trip planners, weekly meals, or notes, or research or anything like that. What's important that all of these spaces are supported by the Anysync protocol, which we have developed that works for end-to-end encrypted offline first sync in a peer-to-peer way with a comparable performance to Web 2. What is important that there are two things that I want to highlight that are important in terms of how Anytype works. First of all, when you create your account with Anytype, the account creation happens on your computer without the internet connection. So if you remove, for example, Wi-Fi from when you're creating an Anytype account, it won't. It will work. Why this is important that it happens even without the internet connection? It means that no one, not us, not Anytype, not anyone in the world will be able to block you out of your account. This, we believe, this is what sovereignty means. This is how software should work. So this account verification happens on pure mathematics. There is no middleman. There is no one who decides if you can access your account. That's one important thing. Second important thing, that all your data is stored on your device. So it's like local, you self-host basically on each device your data. And you can, of course, connect many devices. So Anytype works on macOS, Windows, Linux, Android, and iOS, and all of them can be connected. You can use your recovery phrase. So this is what is happening when your account is created. Your encryption key is generated, which encrypts all of your data. And this encryption key only you have access to. And then when you connect all your other devices with the help of a recovery phrase, with this help, your other devices also get a local copy of your account. And of course, mobile phones, they don't store all files. They store all objects, but not all files, because if you uploaded some 4K videos, you might not want them to be on your mobile device. What's cool that your devices can sync in a peer-to-peer way, which means, for example, if my computer and my laptop are in the same local network, then they will sync directly, and it will be very fast. And also, I think it's like the way you suppose it should work. However, if sometimes your devices can't find each other, we have Anytype backup nodes that help with peer discovery and also work as an additional backup of your data. However, Anytype backup nodes work very differently to how cloud software works. In cloud software, the way client-server architecture works, server stores your data and also your encryption keys. And all the logic is executed also on the server. It means that for the conflict resolution to happen, so if you made some changes on the phone and you want them to see on your computer, the server needs to make conflict resolution. For that, it decrypts the data, makes the conflict resolution, and then sends it back to devices. In Anytype, this is differently. This works differently. First of all, your devices can sync in a peer-to-peer way if they're in the same network. But if they can't find each other, for example, Anytype backup node helps. But Anytype backup nodes was working very differently. First of all, it doesn't have access to your encryption keys, so you cannot decrypt your data. And secondly, all the logic is executed on the devices on your devices, which means the place where the conflict resolution happens, where the data is decrypted, the conflict resolution happens is on your device. And whenever your data is leaving your device, it is always in an encrypted form. That's where Anytype is. One important point to add. Currently, you have only one provider of backup nodes. It's Anytype Network. However, with Open Beta, which is just around the corner, we will release an ability to self-host your backup node, so you will be able to completely not depend on Anytype in any way. And later, we plan to add other networks as providers on top of Anytype. So maybe you will even be able to organize into a network and provide this kind of services to others. The next stage is called sovereign communities, and it's all about publishing and collaboration. So the same way you can create currently documents and tasks and books and other kind of objects, you will be able to create communities that you fully control and no one can block you out of your community, personal profiles and private team spaces, or some curation blocks that you might want to create. All of this is the biggest priority for our team this year, and we plan to develop the first version of multiplayer by the end of the year. And finally, the stage 3 is called the Sovereign Digital Association. It's when we will open source everything that we are creating and we'll start building it together with other developers, designers, and users. As a first step towards that vision, we will open all our repositories with Open Beta, and we will start accepting contributions first to translations, use cases, and integrations and data adapters. And then layer by layer, we will be opening all Anytype for contributions. That's where we're going. And now I would like to say a few words about how Anytype works, or the primitives or concepts that are native for Anytype. First of all, Anytype universe is built with spaces, and spaces are just analogs of websites, but they're graph-based. Currently, Anytype comes only with one space, but we hope by the end of summer or approximately like that, release multi-spaces. So each space is a graph, and a graph is a universal data structure with this nodes and edges. And first of all, because of that, it's going to be like your data is going to be relevant even like thousands years from now, because it's in a graph. So interfaces will inevitably change, but because your data is in a graph format, it still will be relevant. And also this kind of graph as an underlying data structure is also a powerful foundation for all machine learning and data automations and other things that will be built on top of Anytype when we invite other developers to build together with us. So each space is a graph, and what the wonderful thing about it is that each space speaks the same language of objects, types, and relations, and this is like an interoperable standard. So unlike apps, which have their own unique proprietary databases at the core of them, each space speaks the universal language of objects, types, and relations. And now I would like to tell you a little bit more about objects, types, and relations. First of all, anything inside Anytype is an object. So documents, locations, phone numbers, anything like that. And you can easily create a new object just by pressing this plus button, and then you can create a new object. But the power of objects comes from the fact that they are connected into your unique knowledge graph, and relations are exactly these connections between the objects in the graph. So these nodes here are objects, and these arrows are relations. And relations are everything. Simple web link is a relation. Any kind of attributes, for example, birthday is a relation that would connect, for example, Stanley Kubrick to July 26, 1928. Or for example, creation date of any document is a relation tag. These are all different kinds of relations, and it's very easy to add any relation to the objects. It's the same kind of slash menu that creates all of the other blocks and objects. It also has relations here, and you can create new kind of relations also from here. So I just showed you some examples that all of these are relations. Okay, all objects are different, but some are more similar to each other. And for that, we have types. Types allow you to categorize objects. So some objects are, for example, tasks, and some objects are contacts. You can think of types as powerful tags that allow you to decide which relations work mostly with this type, and maybe use a template. So for example, tasks, they would look like tasks, and here is an example of task, and the usual relation would be due date, status, and the responsible person, and you may create your own template for a task. And for contacts, you might have a very differently looking objects with a focus on, for example, photo, and the usual relations will be phone, email, and things like that. And you might create your own templates, both for tasks, for humans, for plants. So we covered types. And finally, you can think of any type at this moment as a space builder, and space is like a website. And let's look closer what parts of this space builder we have. And of course, this presentation I made in Anytype, so I hope you guessed it by now. So you have, first of all, you have an object builder, and this is a standard, I would say, standard functionality of a block-based editor with where with drag and drop and the slash menu, you can add different types of texts and checkboxes, toggles, pictures, videos, audio. So code snippets, latex support dividers, tables, table of contents, of course, other object types. Then you can use drag and drop to maybe build your own structures. It would easily work. So it's creating an object feels like no more difficult than creating a node. Okay, you can create objects. Now you can also create multiple objects or sets and collections, or you can call them databases. So we have standard collections here. So you, for example, here you can choose a collection and then maybe, I don't know, files, and then add objects one by one, or you can the existing objects, you can link to, for example, for some reason I called it files, but I just linked this existing object to my collection. But you also can create sets, and sets work more like queries. So, for example, if I add a task from here, I can add tasks all over my space, to my diary, to my projects, to some meeting notes that I have, and then I can create a set of my tasks the same way I can create any other objects. I would just create, for example, a set, and then say that I'm creating a set. Let's create a set of ideas. And then I can get all of the ideas that I created with the plus button into the set and give it a name, then filter, sort things, create additional views, maybe changing this, changing how they look, adding some other information. So everything you expect from a database, it's similar, also works similarly with sets. But the cool thing is that you can create tasks everywhere and then manage with them all in one place. We also have types and relations, which are partly covered. So here you can see the library, and there you can see your own your types. And in a type you can create, for example, a template. I think Charlotte will cover during her demo. Let me be very brief here. And finally, I think I like this part a lot, is the sidebar with widgets. And every sidebar is different. And I use this kind of sidebar where I place all of this here are widgets. And you can, so what kind of widgets I have? I have created the widgets, everything, and it's the source of it is a set of everything. So all of my objects, and the way I want to show it is a link, but I could change to compact list, or I could have some other representation of this widget. Then I use the tree widget of my main dashboard of my writings, and I like a lot that I can travel like that. And then I have an idea set also here as a widget, favorites as a widget, and recent. But you can create your own widgets quite easily. You can choose any of the objects as a source, and then choose the way you want to represent it on your sidebar. This really helps you to create a sidebar of your space the way you want. And then maybe you can, if you don't like some widget, you can just remove it and create a very simple sidebar. That's it. I hope I covered the basics, and now Charlotte, I hope, will show you really how to build something useful with Anytype.